All right. Hello, Apparition, Jackie, and Void Dweller. Welcome back to Seabed. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, I'm so worried. Last time. See, last time was, I think, just a masterclass on slice of life. With Seabed, like, I have enjoyed probably the slice of life in Seabed. Like, I don't know if you can even call it slice of life, or rather maybe it's like true slice of life, because the daily interactions in Seabed are just written so realistically. Whereas, like, it makes, like, a lot of other things that I've seen read as slice of life feel like, you know, episodes of a sitcom or something. Whereas what I'm reading here in these slice of life, I'm never bored when reading the slice of life sections in Seabed. And I've noticed that, which is something that's absolutely fascinating. I'm trying to figure out exactly why. But they just seem so real. And, like, you're constantly wondering what's going to happen. And the music is, and the images create a really interesting atmosphere, I have to say. Again, hats off to the creators of this visual novel. The only issue, I'm saying this for the 58th time now, probably, but the only issue I have with it, again, is the lack of name tags. You gotta have the name tags. I don't like trying to figure out who's talking. And especially sometimes when the same character is gonna speak two sentences in a row and they have it in two sets of quotes. How am I supposed to understand that that's the same character saying both sentences without, you know, like, without going over it, like, again afterwards? I would rather read it comfortably. But seriously, that's the only issue I've been having with Seabed. Everything else has been fantastic. And anyway, last time, Takako's world is actually some kind of pocket dimension created by Sachiko, I think, for Takako. Mayuko is, like, apparently an expression, like, everyone in that world apparently is supposed to look a bit like Sachiko, and Mayuko apparently looks a lot like her because she was made from her kindness. And, like, that's just like, how did she do this apparently without her own knowledge? Did this. And I think, who knows if we're gonna actually be revealed what exactly happened to Takako? How did she get into this situation? How did she get thrown into this alternate reality? Does it have to do with the memory disease? Like, I know the memory disease is going to play into something big later. And also, what the fuck is Narasaki? Like, she's some crazy spiritual being of some kind, like... And I just want Takako and Sachiko together. You have no idea how much, seriously. But anyway, let's get back into it. For the next to last time. And yeah, another thing is that Narasaki doesn't know that Kozue is in both worlds. What part does Kozue play in this, I wonder? I followed the path that Kozue showed me. After only a few dozen meters, I could make out a body of water through the tree branches. The lake stretched much wider than I had thought. Its surface still as a mirror. I sat down on a half-withered tree I found lying on the small sandy beach. It turned out to be sturdier than it looked. It didn't seem like I had to worry about it crashing down under my weight. I shifted my gaze back to the lake, observing the black, humus-covered slope come into contact with the water, as well as another fallen tree with its roots sticking out next to it. It didn't seem like the lake had received any artificial treatment. The area I'd been sitting at was the closest I could get to the water without the risk of falling in. The water was so clear I could see the sand at the lake's bottom. At some areas, it seemed like the surrounding vegetation had also invaded the lake itself, covering parts of its bottom in green. Again, sand at the bottom, the seabed, or the lake bed, I guess in this case. Watching the lake reminded me of that one time Takako invited me to go fishing. We were still in middle school. Takako, me, and two of her good friends at the time left our houses on our bicycles. Our destination was the lake that Takako's family used to visit by car all the time. She was the only one who knew the location. Takako said it only took 20 minutes by car, but being 2 mountains and 1 river away, the place wasn't exactly easy to reach for a bunch of children. Damn! Holy shit! Getting there on a fucking bike? Jesus Christ. That's some freaking stamina. Exactly. In truth, Takako's 2 friends gave up after seeing the slope leading over the first mountain. I would have left myself, but I knew Takako would not give up and try to press on, with or without us. It would have been bad if she got lost, so I followed her, while making sure to remember the way. Memorizing the unusual roofs of the houses around the mountains, I was thinking that I'd have Takako turn back around noon, even if by force. Yes, seriously. My God. However, by noon we had already reached the lake. Oh, wow. Takako was overjoyed by having reached the place from her memories. That told me how little of the way she actually remembered. I looked at the lake currently in front of my eyes. The lake we found with Takako didn't have a wooden pier, or a proper path leading to it. It was as wild as the forest around it. It also had a big tree leaning right over the water. Takako had the bright idea to do her fishing from atop that very tree. Meanwhile, I laid down a sheet on the sandy beach by the lake, just like this one, and ate a jam sandwich while observing her. It was a pleasant, silent place. We spent about 2 hours at that lake. I read a book I'd brought while Takako attempted to fish. Big fish would sometimes jump above the water, causing ripples to spread along the lake's surface. Though we didn't catch anything in the end, Takako was satisfied by the experience. I couldn't remember the way back all that well, but by the time we got back it was already dark outside. Needless to say, my parents were furious. Like, I'd imagine it would take so long to get back. When we left the lake, Takako suggested we come back another day. I did give her a half-hearted reply of sorts, but I wasn't really planning on ever coming back. As such, that was the first and last time we went to that lake. Oh, God. Damn. Oh, God, that had to end with a punch. Oh, my God. I felt a bit sad, so I took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. That was but another little episode from my past. The chilly air filled my lungs, soothing my aching heart. Now that I thought about it, that might have been the farthest trip I'd ever taken on a bicycle. And I'd forgotten all about it until now. I try remembering my childhood. Fishing, hot springs, amusement parks, zoos, aquariums. Takako forced me to accompany her to a whole variety of places. Oh, God. As I remembered the lake from my past, it felt like it began overlapping with the one I was staring at now. Before I knew it, I couldn't tell which detail was supposed to belong to which scenery. I quickly snapped out of that state, realizing I'd been breathing heavily. It probably would have been wise to stay away from those memories until I calmed down, but they started swirling around me like a ship that had lost its rudder. I soon gave up on resisting, and instead decided to take an objective look at them. First, I asked myself whether this lake was part of the real world. All lakes looked the same anyway, I answered myself. That was probably more or less true. When you start thinking about it too much, the resemblance becomes all the more striking. Is this the same lake? Or perhaps my memories were actually being overwritten by this scenery. You've never been here before. In any case, this wasn't that lake, and I had no way of returning to the past. Oh, God. Oh, welcome back. I ran into Lily in the lobby. Hello? I hear y'all were out hiking. How far did y'all go? I followed the route on your map up to Sakuradai. Oh, Sakuradai. Scenery is quite striking there, especially during good weather. It was nice, wasn't it? I could see beyond the gulf from the observation platform. I lunched there, then circled around the mountain to come back. Oh, I see, sugar. Nana has only just returned, too. I think she's preparing dinner right now. I see. Oh, that's right. I brought Kozue to the architectural office the other day. Everyone really liked her. At first she was quiet as a mouse. But once we began talking about the mansion, she suddenly started asking more and more questions, until even the guys at the office started to run out of answers. In the end, they told us to come visit again any time. I'm glad to hear it. Kozue said she was worried about bothering everyone with her curiosity. I see. I'm the one who invited her, so there was no need for her to worry. To think she's already considering these things at her age. My, what a nice girl. She might come off as a bit shy at first, but once y'all talk to her, you realize that she can be surprisingly assertive. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And she's cute as a button to boot. I wish Nana was more like her when she was a child. I imagine Nana was quite active in her younger years. Indeed she was. At Kozue's age, she was still running around the mountains looking for insects. Yes, she didn't seem like the kind of girl who'd be afraid of bugs. I imagine Nana chasing after insects and fishing in the mountains, which in turn made me remember Takako. Oh, will y'all look at the time? Said Lily as she glanced at the clock. Tell the truth, I still haven't finished some of my duties. We can discuss Nana's childhood some other time. Okay? See y'all later then. See you. After that, I climbed the stairs and returned to my room. I undressed, took a shower, and changed into something more comfortable. I glanced out the window while drying my hair at the dresser, and saw the evening sun beginning to gradually shower the mountain range with its crimson rays. After lightly combing my hair, I descended to the lobby. The grandfather clock had just struck 5. I considered going to the kitchen to look for Nanai, but then I realized I would probably be getting in the way of her cooking, so I changed my mind. I shifted my eyes to the corner of the lobby, remembering the reading area Nanai and I designed together. Now that I actually looked at it, I got worried whether a chair would really fit there. Oh wow, jeez. Curious about the overall design of the room, I sat down on one of the stools by the wall and began to slowly scrutinize my surroundings. I could hear the grandfather clock creak with each new swing of its pendulum. That old thing must have been a pain to maintain. A jug with a forest plant in it rested on the counter. A black phone slumbered all alone on a stool in the corner. I felt like Nana had nothing to worry about considering the lobby coming off as dull. By the time the orange rays of the sun penetrated the stained glass on the door, I started to regret not bringing a book with me. Being left with no other options, I spent some time observing the patches of sunlight as they slowly traveled from the center of the lobby to the camellia, then to the old register on the counter. I suddenly remembered how I met Nana in Rome. She said she was looking for new furniture. Even this room alone had an expensive-looking glass shelf on the other end of the counter, and an old decorative typewriter, and some seemingly antique stools, not to mention all the other things I'd already mentioned. I wondered how much of those Nana I collected by herself. Well, we do know that Lily also collected furniture from the tips. At a closer look, I realized the items all seemed to date back to a wide variety of periods and came from all sorts of regions. However, they were now all part of the world Nana created. A place filled with a soothing, nostalgic atmosphere that reminded me of the Western fairy tales I used to read as a child. I figured I should ask her about what her buying standards were. A continuous ringing sound shook me awake from my daydream. It appeared to be the phone. It continued to ring as I gazed into it. At it. It didn't seem like Lily or anyone was coming back to pick it up. I stood up and walked in front of the phone. I picked up the receiver. Hello? Probably Narasaki. Hello. Yep, definitely. The voice from the other end of the line sounded kind of nostalgic. I instantly recognized it as Narasaki's. I'm sorry. I made you promise to call, but I ended up forgetting about it. Oh, don't worry about it. I wasn't sure I'm sorry. I made you promise to call, but I ended up forgetting about it. Oh, don't worry about it. I wasn't sure if I'd had time to call anyway. Did you manage to get back all right? Yep, she said. One of her usual snorts followed. Suddenly I heard the gong of the grandfather clock. Is something wrong? Narasaki asked as the sound startled me. No. The clock just surprised me, that's all. Hearing me say that, Narasaki let out another chuckle. The clock continued to gong. I felt like I could hear it from the other end of the line, too.
Did you like flowers, Sachiko?
Flowers?
Yep, flowers.
Well, I suppose I do. Not much more than the average person, though.
In that case, maybe you should try growing a garden as a hobby.
Why? That sounds pretty random coming from you.
Taking care of living things does wonders for relaxation. I'd recommend keeping a pet, but you're allergic to fur if I remember correctly. I just thought it'd fit you.
Really? Well, I'll think about it. How is your schedule looking? When do you think I should drop by your clinic again? Narasaki didn't say anything, so I brought up the subject myself. However, she didn't answer right away, instead making a long pause.
I don't think we'll be able to meet for a while.
Yep, the dimension is collapsing. Oh god. Why?
I got a sudden new job. I'll have to travel a bit far for a while.
What do you mean, far? Where are you going? And what's going to happen to your clinic?
The location isn't clear yet. As for the clinic, I'll be closing it.
That's sudden.
Sorry, but I'll be busy for a while.
Narasaki said after I fell silent. She explained that we would not be meeting for a long while. I was even planning to buy her a present on my way back, but now I felt a little dejected by this sudden turn of events.
Hey, these things happen, you know.
Narasaki added as I absent-mindedly coiled the phone's cord around my finger. If... I started, but I gave up. It's going to be lonely without you, I said instead.
You can always call Nanai or Lily if you need company.
I suppose so. Calling Nanai from time to time did sound like a pretty good idea. But I also felt like Narasaki's departure would leave a gaping hole in my life.
If you still feel lonely, just blame it on the season. It's all too easy to get caught up in a melancholy mood when it's cold and silent outside. Your apartment has a balcony, right? Try growing primroses. They're strikingly colorful things that actually bloom in winter.
I'll give that a try, if I feel like it.
Good. Well then, I'll be hanging up. There's still something I need to take care of.
I see.
What's wrong? Is there still something you want to tell me?
I was already prepared to hear her say goodbye, but she didn't end the conversation just yet. What makes you think that? I pulled my finger away from the cord, letting it stretch back to its normal length.
Whenever you left your grandparents' house in the country, you'd always keep waving at them from the rear window of the car until they were completely out of sight. That's the kind of child you were.
I'm not a child anymore.
You really think so?
Narasaki said. I'm hanging up.
Okay. See ya.
See you. I pulled the receiver away from my ear and placed it on the phone. I heaved a deep breath as I let go of it and stole a glance at the clock. Its minute arrow was pointing at the number 2. That wasn't a very long conversation. The pieces of the stained glass on the door glowed in navy blue. As I considered going back to my room to wait for dinner, I suddenly felt kind of tired and didn't want to climb the staircase. I sat down on the same stool as before and waited for my sudden exhaustion to pass. I glanced at the phone, but remembering Narasaki's last words, quickly looked away. Placing my elbows on my knees, I rested my forehead on my palms. I closed my eyes, listening to the pendulum swing back and forth. Oh my god, I am on pins and needles here. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, what's gonna happen? Oh, happy music. I opened my eyes to see the already familiar canopy above the bed. I promptly sat up and slid out from under the sheets as I always did. Then I got changed and headed off to have breakfast. Looks like Narasaki's gonna take care of things from Takako's world. As I reached the cafeteria, I found Nana with my breakfast at the usual table. I greeted her and we began eating together. The meal consisted of bread rolls, scrambled eggs, spaghetti, spinach, salad, sausages, and a handful of cherry tomatoes. My god! That's quite a lot of random different things for breakfast. Spaghetti! Okay. This looks even more extravagant than usual. Oh, shucks. It's your last breakfast here, darling, so I felt like putting in a bit of extra effort. You can leave some if it's too much. The rolled bread had soft ham and crispy cheese inside. Wow! She is a great chef. After finishing the bread, I scooped up a mouthful of spaghetti with my fork. This is pretty nostalgic. I remembered having something similar back in school, though it wasn't this good. Oh, shucks. Right? I liked them so much I ended up looking up the recipe. Those noodles look kind of unusual. Do they even sell those in a supermarket? They're called soft noodles, darling. Y'all can get them directly from the manufacturers if you order a large amount. I see. Apparently, they're specially made for school lunches. They don't get as mushy as the normal ones, they're supposed to be better for digestion. Yeah, I remember how easily they just tear from just a gentle touch of your chopsticks. Exactly! Nana nodded. I realized this after looking it up, but apparently Japanese school lunches after the war mostly used bread imported from America. They imported bread from America? Wouldn't it get stale? My god. The noodle industry eventually caught wind of it and decided to increase the variety of food available in schools, developing these noodles as a result. They're especially rich in B1 and B2 vitamins that children desperately needed back in those days. It all started in Tokyo, before gradually spreading all across the country. I would have never guessed that these spaghetti had such a rich history. Oh my god. We spent the rest of our lunch discussing the kind of food we used to eat at school. Oh my god! Kumasawa has entered the chat. Apparently, Nana was a big fan of mackerel miso soup. When I mentioned I'd like to make sushi rolls, she taught me a few tricks to make the process easier and the results neater. I spent the afternoon in the mansion like I always did. After packing my bags, I made it down to the lobby. Nana promised she'd meet me with her car, but I arrived a bit earlier than the agreed upon time. So long to this vacation, Sachiko. What's gonna happen when she gets back home? I placed my bags under the counter and lingered in the lobby for a while. I was thinking about sitting down on the stool when the black phone entered my vision. It didn't seem like it would be ringing again anytime soon.
Is something wrong, sugar? Did my phone offend y'all in some way?
Nana appeared in the doorway behind the counter. Checking the clock, I realized it was about time for my departure. No, it's nothing.
I see. Well, let's be on our way, I guess.
Right.
How'd y'all like it here?
Nana asked as we rattled up the same road I ascended on my first day here.
Looks like she's gonna be able to leave in peace.
I had a great time. It's been so long since I felt so relaxed. I'm almost looking forward to going back to work the day after tomorrow.
Glad to hear it.
A car rattled as it passed over a big hole in the road, making Nana grow silent. I caught a glimpse of the sea beyond the trees around us.
Oh, feel free to drop by for another visit if you're ever in the mood.
Oh, definitely. Nana told me she still had some unfinished work to attend to, as we parted ways at the station. After waiting a minute or so for me to go inside, she drove away. I found a small shop inside the station.
This is insane. Like, how is she able to create things? Did Sachiko create this world? How was she able to do this if she never even knew what this was like? Damn.
I found a small shop inside the station. I wonder what kind of shop this is. I briefly inspected its lineup. It had some snacks, newspapers, and a souvenir corner. Key holders, wood carvings, and glass sculptures lined a long shelf. I found a familiar writing utensil among the lineup, clips with cute bears on them. I felt like I had too few to put them to any real use, so I considered buying a bit more here. But as I wondered if it was really necessary, I grew worried about the time. I checked the clock inside the station and realized it was about time for my train. In the end, I bought 2 packs of clippings, thinking I might as well give the extra ones to my workmates as presents. Then I bought a few more things I thought they might like. I bought the ticket at the booth Nanai told me about, and as soon as I stepped onto the platform, the train arrived. That's it for Nanai, I guess.
Wow, that is a really cool picture of Sachiko. She almost looks like Narasaki there. With the coat and everything. You know, I mean, her body, not her face, obviously.
The train car rocked back and forth. I let out a sigh, then inhaled a breath, realizing that the air here smelled a lot like the way it does back home in the countryside. A complete mix of steel, trees, the sea, old buildings, and incense. The scent waned with each station we passed. Instead, the towns began to grow bigger and bigger. After the next station, we emerged next to a highway along the sea. I watched the sun set alongside the sea, illuminating the train car in its orange glow. It sank deeper and deeper into the western horizon. I closed my eyes, turning my face to the center of the light. I imagined a world where the sun rose from the west. Oh my god. Takako was sleeping there on the other side. The faint sun rays would soon fall on her closed eyelids, gently waking her. She would then do her usual routine of radio exercises and head to work.
Oh my god! She's so close to the truth!
That silly train of thought was enough to make me feel like I would be okay.
That is almost true! Except she's in a sanatorium and not going to work. But,
oh my god. Opening my eyes, I saw the entire train car painted in orange. It felt almost like I was in a pleasantly warm bath. I truly managed to put my vacation time to good use this time. The hallucinations and ear-ringing that had been plaguing me for quite a while seemed to have completely disappeared over the past few days. I felt like I could return to work in top shape, but I also wasn't planning to take on as much as I used to near the end of the year. I shoved my right hand into the pocket of my jacket to confirm my ticket, when my fingers touched something cold and hard inside. I took it out and realized it was the penguin toy Kozue gave me as a present. It shone dully in the orange light, its silly face looking somewhat sad. I felt a tear roll down my cheek. Wondering if a stray sunray reflected on some nearby surface had hurt my eye, I slightly rubbed it. When I did, another tear spilled forth from it. I paused for a moment, unable to understand what was causing this. No other tears followed, with the second one remaining moist on my cheek. The exact same scenery I'd observed on my way here drifted along on the other end of the window. But I felt like myself was now somehow different. Something didn't add up. It was like I left something behind in that mansion. I could recall someone telling me I had nothing to worry about anymore, but I couldn't remember who it was or when it happened. And I had a feeling I'd never be able to. I touched the trail left by the teardrop on my cheek, feeling a pain in my heart every time the train car swayed. It was like something important was being peeled away from it little by little. However, I had no way of escaping the moving train. All I could do was sit here, waiting for it to reach its final destination. I felt like I heard a faint voice in the corner of my mind, but I couldn't make it out. A deep darkness enveloped everything.
what's going on? Oh boy. Is she gonna be back in the cave? Return. Distant sound. Here we go. Back to Takako. Come on, Takako. You gotta do something. I returned to the night duty room after my conversation with Narasaki. I picked up her teacups and pot from the table and carried them to the kitchen. I spilled what little tea was left on the bottom of the pot into the sink, then realized I was out of boiled water to make more. I pulled a kettle off one of the shelves, filled it with water, and put it on the stove. I mulled over my conversation with Narasaki while waiting for the water to boil. That conversation hardly took an hour, but I'd learned a lot. My head was still spinning, having received all this information about diaries and illnesses and whatnot.
Now that I thought about it, I should use that chance to ask Narasaki more questions. For example, she said she had met me before in the past. I forgot to even ask when that happened. Besides, while Narasaki seemed amiable and answered more or less everything I asked, I felt there was still something off about how she phrased certain things. Exactly. I wondered if she really didn't know Sachiko like she tried to imply. She didn't seem at all surprised or even curious when I told her Sachiko was the most important person in my life. Almost as though she knew about our relationship. The hiss of the kettle brought me back to reality. Oh god, oh god, oh god. I poured the boiling water into the pot filled with old tea leaves. I filled my teacup with the freshly made tea and took a sip, feeling my head clear up. I grabbed one of the Monica that Narasaki bought me and returned to the living room, sitting down on the cushion by the table. A bunch of keys Narasaki handed me lay in the middle of the table. Oh my god, you guys, you're not going to believe this. But for some reason, the chat has not been showing up for me. I was wondering why it was so quiet. The chat had frozen for me. Oh my god, I am so sorry. Oh god. Let me read. Oh god. I knew, it's like, what's going on? Everyone is being so quiet. Oh my god, welcome. Guppy Force, T. Oh, God. To the stream. Jesus Christ. I had no idea. Oh my god, jeez. I'm so sorry. See, I don't know what. The chat had frozen. Oh my god. I was wondering. I was like, is everyone just being really... I could see that there's a bunch of people here, but nobody's saying anything after after Void Dweller said hi. I was like, okay, everyone's been really quiet today. Oh my god, and now it's working fine. I just had to pop in and out the chat again. Anyway, back to the story. A bunch of keys Narasaki handed me lay in the middle of the table. She did that for a reason. She did that for a reason. Narasaki left those keys so Takako could use them. They were all connected by a silver ring. Some of the keys had small green hexagonal key holders attached to them. Being all the same, they reminded me of keys used in hotels. Actually, well, I guess this is like, what, the 80s or 90s? But even then, even back then, whenever my family took vacations to hotels, like, they always had the key cards. And something I would always do, if anyone has ever seen the anime Digimon Tamers, which is an excellent kids anime, by the way. Excellent. Superb. I can't give it enough praise. There was a thing that they did called Card Slash, and they always said it, Card Slash! And that's, and every time that my mom let me open the lock to the doors in the rooms, I always did Card Slash! I was like, through. Oh, because I was such a dork. And I still am. Alright. That's just nostalgic. But yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a hotel that used actual keys. They've all used card keys, as far as I remember. I imagine now they just have shifts in the cards that you hold up against the door. Being all the same, they reminded me of the keys used in hotels. Hello, Blue Shift. Welcome to the street. They were different from the key holders Mayuko used. I picked one key holder up to realize it was a bit heavier than I had thought. It sparkled slightly, reflecting the light as I turned it in my palm. Damn, Void Dweller, that's an ancient thing. Nobody's brought up verses that, like, I can't remember anyone even bringing that up in recent times. Like, Digimon and Pokemon are, like, the only thing they have in common are both having monsters that are owned by kids. Like, the storylines are 100 billion% different. I picked up one key holder to realize it was heavier than I had thought. It sparkled slightly, reflecting the light as I turned it in my palm. I suddenly spotted a number on it. Upon turning it a bit more in the light, I could make out a room number. Yep, okay, here we go. Yep. I tried checking which room keys I had, and eventually I found one to Kozouei's old room. I placed the keys back on the table. I remembered how I saw Sachiko in that room. Yes! Oh, it was always locked! That's why she couldn't. Alright, Takako. It's now or never. I tried to get back to that room multiple times, but it was always locked. I didn't realize until now, but the tea I drank seemed more bitter than usual. I now had the chance to check that room before returning the keys to Mayuko. For some reason, I felt like it wasn't complete coincidence that they ended up in my possession. I tried coming up with an explanation, but ultimately failed. There's gotta be a reason why it was Kozouei's room. Kozouei has to be some kind of entity as well. Of some kind. She's the only one in both worlds, and not even Narasaki knows that she's in both worlds. I wondered whether I should go to that room right now, or instead tell Narasaki about what I'd experienced there. I'm pretty sure she already knows. However, I couldn't figure out exactly what I was supposed to ask her. I was the only one who knew what happened there. Narasaki might have understood something I didn't, and I told her everything. On the other hand, she might have just deemed me crazy and locked me up or something. Totally understandable. Yeah, like, very understandable fear. Besides, based on our previous conversation, it was already evident that she was trying to avoid discussing Sachiko with me. There were no guarantees she'd tell me anything, even if she knew. I gulped down the remainder of my drink and picked up the keys. I removed the one with Kozouei's old room number on it, then shoved it into my pocket. It was entirely possible that nothing would happen, even if I went there. However, I could not but feel like there was something important in that room. I made sure to slide a flashlight into my back pocket before leaving the night duty room. Here we go. Oh, there's Sanai. Okay. Bye, Sanai. I know you two made friends. I ran into Sanai near the spiral staircase in the lobby. Oh, bonjour. I was looking for you, said Sanai as she approached me. She told me she was just on her way to the night duty room after finding my room empty. What's up? I'm not working today. You told me that you wanted me to recommend you some books. I glanced at the cover of the book she was holding. It had an illustration depicting a sci-fi cityscape with a semi-futuristic look. I remembered seeing Sanai read that book before. I saw you reading that. It's a mystery novel with a lot of action elements. I think you enjoy it. It's called Mineko. The mystery itself is pretty good too, she added. I'm sure it's an amazing book, but I have a girlfriend to find. That sounds fun, but I'm a bit busy right now. I'll swing by your room to pick it up later, okay? Fine by me. Sanai nodded and returned to her room. I continued down the corridor in the opposite direction, slowing my steps so Sanai wouldn't see me step in front of the locked room. I waited for her to turn a corner. I took a glance over my shoulder. Sanai was nowhere to be seen. I quickly surveyed the rest of my surroundings, making absolutely sure there wasn't anyone on the opposite end of the corridor either. It's called Seabed. Ha ha ha, very funny. I can feel it too, Jackie. I then took the key out of my pocket and stuck it into the lock. On second thought, I didn't necessarily have to hide this from Sanai. She wouldn't tell Mayuko about it if I asked her to keep it a secret. Besides, all she would have likely done was warn me to be careful. I doubted she would have tried to stop me. I don't think she would have told you to be careful if she were just going into an old room. Still, I didn't want to force her to lie for me, so perhaps this was for the best. I turned the key with a click and the lock opened. The handle no longer resisted me. I considered what I would do if I ended up being unable to return. I remembered promising Mayuko to tell her before going somewhere. But that was already after I'd entered the room and closed the door behind me. Damn! There was nothing but a bed and an empty shelf in the room. Just like the day I went to look for that thing Kozue lost. The place even felt kind of nostalgic. Now that I thought about it, I never even learned what I was looking for in here. I wonder if it was the penguin thing that she gave to Satoko. The evening light filtered in through the window, preventing the room from being as dark as last time. I wondered if I should have opened the window. But since I didn't come here to clean or do anything of the sort, I figured I'd leave it alone for now. I walked to the center of the room, then spun around. The place looked like a normal room. There were no caves or any other trippy imagery I witnessed last time. When I leaned against the shelf, my hand had ended up covered in dust. I pulled my hand back, realizing I'd left a handprint. I considered sleeping on the bed, but that was probably a bad idea. After placing my hand back on the same spot, I closed my eyes. Come on, you gotta get to the dream world. And with that, I remembered everything that happened here last time. A tiny sliver of light, surrounded by a boundless darkness. When I moved closer to it, I saw Satoko's back. She was sitting on a stone, facing away from me. When I tried speaking to her, she noticed my voice and slightly turned around. And that was where it ended. I replayed it in my mind countless times, so I was absolutely certain. Yup, okay! Oh my god, you guys! You guys! They're both gonna get to the dream world at the same time! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Kozue. Kozue is helping us out, majorly. I bet she was able to do this because of the penguin thing that Kozue gave Satoko. When I opened my eyes, the room had been swallowed by darkness. Surprised, I took a step back, hitting the shelf behind me with my buttocks. The flashlight I brought with me slid out of my pocket and fell to the ground. I instantly turned around to pick it up, but couldn't see anything in the blinding dark. This sudden turn of events left me a little dizzy. Damn it. Oh, it's not. Realizing I wouldn't be able to rely on my eyes anymore, I tried to ascertain my surroundings using my other senses. The scents and sounds I detected told me I was back in that place. Woo! Yes! I tried grasping around with the flashlight, but I had no idea where it fell anymore. I could no longer even find that shelf I hit earlier. In fact, I didn't even hear the sound of the flashlight hitting the floor. It probably fell the moment that you swap between worlds. Yep, perhaps I had left it on the other side. Surrounded by the hollow darkness, I let out a sigh. I swiftly calmed myself, focusing instead on what I was to do next. I came here to find Sachiko. I wanted to know what the present Sachiko, whom I still couldn't completely remember, was doing and where she was. I slowly took another look around. Well, she's not a bat, void dweller. This definitely wasn't the best of situations, but for some reason I didn't panic. Oddly enough, this darkness felt more nostalgic than intimidating, because you're in the dream world. Now both of you gotta make it back to real reality together. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. The last time I was here, I was too surprised to be able to think straight. But now I felt like my head was working even better than usual. Perhaps the thought I might find Sachiko here made it that way. Whenever I was by her side, I feel neither fear nor anxiety. I heard a gust of wind blow past me. It reminded me of the sound of fast-moving subway trains. Additionally, the cool and musty smell reminded me of the floor of my old apartment. When I was little, I used to dig deep down into the sandbox to find the driest and smoothest sand to use as topping for my sand pancakes. A few times I managed to find sand that had turned light green. I still had no idea what it was supposed to be. In any case, I stored my greenish pancakes in an empty water tank I found in a warehouse. Oh, the warehouse again. It was always dry and cold inside, so it was perfect for storage. The few times I left my pancakes under the stairs in my apartment, I found them cracked, looking as though a cat or dog had stepped on them. Those I stored in the tank, they probably survived until I moved. For some reason, I couldn't remember that clearly. I only remembered how I stored them in the tank. I checked to see if my limbs were still numb, then decided to move forward. Much like last time, the ground at my feet had a hard, rocky texture to it. Careful not to trip, I slowly continued forward. The distorted echoes of my footsteps reverberated across the darkness. Now I'm wondering, what if Kozue used that room as her own personal gateway between the two worlds? But why is she doing that? Is she also trying to help? Not even Narasaki knows about her. I gotta figure out Kozue. The distorted echoes of my footsteps reverberated across the darkness. I continued walking for a while, but hit no walls or any other barriers. It's definitely not the inside of that room anymore. I was back. I blinked, but it didn't help. With or without my eyes closed, everything still remained the same. Perhaps this whole thing was just in my head, and my eyes had nothing to do with it. There was something off with my footsteps, so I paused for a bit. My last footstep reverberated across the area. Its sound grew gradually quieter until it eventually disappeared. The sound of my next footstep reached me from behind. I turned around, but I still couldn't see anything. Nonetheless, I could hear rhythmic footsteps approaching me from that very direction. Sachiko or Narasaki? Who is it? I rubbed my eyes and felt like I spotted a white stain of sorts in the darkness. I focused my eyes on it, then rubbed them again. The white stain began to grow bigger and bigger with each footstep I heard. It was a white shadow. Stretching tall from the ground, it had the shape of a person. It was coming toward me. I stood in place for a few moments until the shadow came close enough for me to reach it. It stopped right in front of me, and I still couldn't figure out what it was supposed to be. It had blurry contours and no colors. Oh God. He really was just a white shadow. Sachiko's shadow. As it swayed from left to right, I could have sworn it was crying. Oh my God, 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 oh my God. Oh my God! You're so close, you're so close! You're so close! Suddenly, it reached out and covered my eyes. What's going on? What's going on? Takako? You're back in the bedroom! Or is this in the dream world? After blinking a few times, I looked around. I was back in a room. Before I knew it, I stood there in the middle, staring at the door. For a moment, I thought I was back, but this wasn't the same room I came from. I looked around while rubbing my arms. It was incredibly cold. I wore a coat over a long-sleeve shirt, a choice of apparel that would keep me warm during winter. Yet the air in this room felt like it could penetrate right through its layers, chilling my skin. The room was about the same size as Kozue's, but the interior was different. She is! Oh no! She's back at the fucking resort! Oh God! Fucking hell! The bed actually had a canopy with a curtain. The curtain was closed, making it impossible to see inside. I took a few steps, causing any sounds would change anything. The dry sound of my footsteps reverberated across the room, but that was about it. I couldn't feel anyone's presence. It was still as death. This isn't the resort. Okay. Oh my God. Is this back at their apartment? It might be back at their apartment. I don't know. I'm... Okay, yeah, it is back at their apartment. Okay, thanks, Coffee Force. Yeah, okay, I'm just... Okay, the canopy threw me off. Oh my God, I'm just in such a panic right now. Oh God. Yes, I remember that. Guffy Force, I was just in a panic. Oh my God. Only a faint reddish light illuminated the interior. I stuck my hands in the gap between the curtains and slowly pulled them away. There was no one on the bed, much like I had expected. The curtains completely surrounded the entire bed, blocking view of its sides. Imagine if Sachiko comes home and she finds Takako waiting for her. She might think it's a hallucination at first. Oh God. But Sachiko was also swallowed by the darkness. Where is she? I could barely make out the lamp and a silhouette of a clock on one side. I had to circle around the bed to check either of its sides. I inspected the room's interior one more time as I walked around. There was a Dracaena plant in a pot by the door. She doesn't recognize the decorations. This must be the real world! An oil painting of some landscape hung on the wall to the right of it. Yes, Void Dweller. Takako's world was falling apart. I think she's back in the real world. Underneath it rested an antique-looking dresser. It was well organized and neatly maintained. Feeling like I'd seen some of these things before, I returned my gaze to the painting. It was either the scenery or the painting itself, but I could remember neither what it was of, nor the painter who could have painted the thing. I walked closer to have a better look, but that didn't help. Perhaps I never really knew this thing to begin with. As my hand touched the dresser, I instinctively pulled it back. But then I realized I had no reason to be afraid and leaned against the desk. It didn't have a single speck of dust on it. Whoever used it must have been a clean freak. I heard that. The dresser had cute bent legs. I spotted an odd dent on one of them with a bit of the wood chipped away. It was around the height you'd stub your toe at. Just looking at it made my toe ache. Relaxed by such a silly thought, I turned around and stopped again. I wondered how I knew the shape on the other side of the bed was a clock. Its silhouette was so blurred I couldn't have possibly figured out what it was based on that. You gotta get your memory back, Takako. I still knew it was a clock. It was a rectangle-shaped thing with a little roof on top, and a round clock board on top with a pendulum swinging underneath it. A little dwarf used to come out of it to play a melody whenever the clock struck the hour, but one of its springs had gone bad, and now it no longer worked. I listened to the swinging pendulum while gazing at the vague contours of the clock. Wait, what did I say, Void Dweller? I was sorry, what are you talking about? I followed it to the other side of the bed. The sound that I thought was just my imagination turned more and more real with each step. A side table stood by the bed. The clock I just described rested on it. I felt my head grow hot when I confirmed it really was the same thing. Here we go! It wasn't just the clock I was familiar with. I knew that side table, I knew that lamp, I knew that dresser, I knew that painting. This was the bedroom of the apartment I shared with Sachiko. Woo! It was as though the memories frozen in the back of my mind began to melt. The pendulum sound went through them like an ice pick. The curtains around the bed moved, a slight gap opening between them. White steam rose from it, white steam. As I looked at that, I realized that my fingertips had grown cold. The room's temperature had fallen so low that my breath was starting to turn white. What is going on? I stuck my frozen hands in the gap between the curtains and slowly pulled them to myself. Someone was now on the previously empty bed. It lay on its sheets in a beautiful posture. It had the same face as me, but its skin was pale as snow. What is going on? That's what Narasaki described in the tips. Thinking. I felt like I heard someone's voice. Takako's soul! Did Takako's soul leave her body or something? Is that it? Is that it? I wonder. I felt like I heard someone's voice. The lifeless lips of the me lying on the bed remained closed. I strained my ears and indeed heard something again. It sounded akin to someone talking to themselves. Yup. The voice I heard in between the rhythmic sound of the pendulum was likely the same one I'd listened to the most during my life. Unsure of its source, I continued looking at myself on the bed for a while. That faint voice definitely originated in this room. I focused all my attention on it, careful not to disturb it with any stray thoughts, almost like an archaeologist digging out a brittle antique. Oh, sorry. And eventually I started to make out the words of that familiar voice. My surroundings suddenly grew dark. No! It wasn't because someone turned off the lights. Oh, good. I simply closed my eyes without consciously being aware of it. I finally realized the voice was coming from inside my head. Oh God, is this a memory? Oh. That night's scenery was really beautiful, wasn't it? Oh, that's probably Satoko. That night's scenery was really beautiful, wasn't it? Which scenery? The one we saw at the Golden Gate. I mean, we ended up going there because you wanted to see the location of your favorite movie. Oh God. We rented a car for 2 days and you drove us up to the opposite shore. Don't you remember? I hear lots of suicides happen on that bridge. Oh, what a nice thing to remember. I remember it. But I want to hear you remember it. Okay? Sachiko began telling me about our trip. Which tourist spots we visited after landing at the airport. How we spent time at the hotel. Sachiko told me everything, about everything, right down to the smallest detail. Listening to her speak, I started feeling like going on another trip together. I want to go there again. Where? Wherever. You can decide this time. Yeah. Okay. I'll think about it. I felt the warmth of Sachiko's right hand on my left. Her slender fingers with its beautiful nails intertwined with mine. Have you decided yet? I asked. I'd like to go on a cruise. I want something where I wouldn't need to move a lot and could take my time reading books, she added. Sachiko. Oh my God. Well, I prefer something with a bit of physical exercise, personally. Oh God. Is this the memory disease? Oh God. We can do that after you get better. Hey, I'm fine. I think I've been getting a lot better lately. Sachiko's features clouded over. You really think so? I'd better ask the doctor then. Sachiko pulled out a doll from the drawer and showed it to me. Ah! It wore a white lab coat. Sachiko raised one of the doll's hands and said, "Hey there, it's been a while." I remember it now. We played with this back in kindergarten, right? You must have seen it at least 100 times in my room. I found it the other day when I was looking for our graduation album. That's so nostalgic. Tell me about it, the doll said, raising its hands. There was a little preview scene before Void Dweller. Hey, if you're a doctor, could you do a checkup on me?
Let's see. The doll's little hand pressed against my forehead.
Speaking of which, where did your stethoscope go?
I lost it somewhere. Well, not like I can't determine your condition just by looking at you.
Well, that's quite the skill to have.
You have a fever. Does your head hurt?
Just a little.
It seems you need more rest. You should sleep for tonight. You think you can manage that?
I'm not feeling that bad. I can sleep just fine. I'll be here by your side. So relax and close your eyes.
Well, that's good to hear.
I returned to the darkness as the voices in my memories drew further away. I kept my eyes closed, waiting for the next voice. I didn't hear anything for a while, but I couldn't force myself to move. It was entirely possible that the moment I opened my eyes, I would no longer be in that cold room. Remnants of Sachiko's presence still lingered about, along with something of tremendous importance. As such, I remained still in the darkness. After waiting for a while, I started feeling like I was already hearing it. I could hear it, but my brain refused to comprehend or even process it. I continued to wait. After some more time, I lost sense of how long I'd been doing this. I found myself assaulted by drowsiness, trying to interfere with my mission. When I pulled my consciousness away to escape it, I heard the voice again. Why not go to sleep already? It is the memory disease! I'll forget a lot of things if I fall asleep now. Oh, you'll forget a lot anyway. I felt Sachiko's hand on my cheek as I made a sulking face. I wonder what happens when people die. No idea. That's up to God, I suppose. I don't really believe in one, though. I'd rather you decided it for me. Sachiko fell in thought. They say people remain in the hearts of their loved ones. And I agree. When I think about what you think, you appear inside my head. I'll keep thinking about you even when you're no more, so you'll still be here inside me.
What kind of place would that be?
Oh, a great place. You'll live in a port town by a beautiful sea. It's quiet enough, the air tastes nice, and every season is perfect for reading. And I'm going to move there? Yes. There's only nice people living there, so they'll treat you well. Sounds like Wonderland. Oh my god. Somehow she was able to actually do this. I suppose you could call it that. That sounds nice. That sounds nice. Tell me more. I turned in the direction of Sachiko's voice and opened my eyes. However, her face was all blurry in the dim light and I couldn't make it out. Okay. I heard her voice. No! Fucking hell! No. No! When I opened my eyes, I was in Kozue's room. I was standing in front of a bed without a canopy. Tears rolled down my cheeks. They were rolling down mine too, Takako. My last memory was that of regret. Sachiko was the one most in pain. Yeah, and I ended up relying on her again. She shook that heavy load on her shoulders for me with a gentle smile. Patches of orange sunlight illuminated my knees. The cold had abated, as if it was never there to begin with. The pain and sickness I felt were completely gone too. I looked at my shadow on the bed and felt a sharp pain behind my eyes. That scene from earlier kept flashing into my mind. I had a recollection of the bed Sachiko and I lay on. And I already remembered the clock before even seeing it. That was, without a shred of a doubt, our bedroom. We bought an apartment in the suburbs. It was about a 30-minute drive away from our office. The memories of the day we spent together came flooding back into my mind like water gushing through a collapsing dam. She's getting all her memories back. If she gets all her memories back, can she somehow use this to get back to the real world? Oh God. Exactly, Takako. That was way too much information for a mere dream. Besides, there was nothing ambiguous about those memories. I remembered everything with perfect clarity. My heart was racing in my chest. I gave up on processing everything for now and took a deep breath. As I looked around the room, I remembered the sanatorium. My thoughts then moved on to Mayuko, Sanai, and Kozue. And finally to Narasaki. Sachiko mentioned that name in my returning memories. Narasaki knew Sachiko, and it was possible she was still here. Once I had calmed down, I hurried out of the room. This is the stopping point. Are you serious, Guppy Force? Oh my God. Are you fucking serious? What? Yeah! Okay. Oh my God. Oh boy. Okay, if I stop after the next scene, it's even worse. It's just gonna have to be a shorter stream than usual, Void Dweller. Things are slowly coming into focus. Okay, if I keep going... Okay, I see. Hello, Dimitri, by the way. Welcome to the stream. Oh my God, okay. It'll be even worse if I go to the next scene, okay? Jeez. Oh, you guys are just making me curious. Oh, God. Next time, we finish Seabed. Last save, a call. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm so... Oh my God. Oh God. Takako, I need to know what she's... This goddamn memory disease. I don't think Sachiko even realized how powerful she was. To be able to create a whole world. Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God. There's still so many unanswered questions. Oh my God, we learned a lot though. Oh my God, now Takako has to decide, she's probably gonna like freaking throttle those answers out of Narasaki. In the next time on Seabed where we end it all. Tomorrow some more Witches and Woodlands. Oh my god, you guys, you guys, you guys, you guys, you guys, you guys, you guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. I have loved this visual novel. Seriously, I love it. I realize that, it's not for everyone. It's not very quote unquote exciting. But I have loved every second of it. I am just the ending will probably determine a lot of how I ultimately feel about it, but oh my god, 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 oh my god. How was Sachiko able to do that? She's clearly quite powerful. Until next time, you guys. Tomorrow is some more Witches and Woodlands. Until next time, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You are all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.